Hey guys, welcome in. It's Brad with College SportsCast. John and I are here tonight to do championship week game day pick'ems. All right, guys, welcome in. It's Brad with College SportsCast. What's up, Haymans? How you doing,
What's up, man? I'm good.
It's been a little while. We skipped Tuesday night. I'm sorry. My stomach issues going on, and I had to skip Tuesday night. But we are back here for championship week in our game day pick'ems, and excited to do the entire championship week. And we've got some college basketball lined up. So, John, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the college world, period, with Feast Week.
If you wonder what I'm looking at, I'm watching Dallas while I'm doing this.
Are they playing tonight?
Yeah, they're playing the Seahawks right now. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've been so busy, I hadn't even looked, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I ain't even looked, to be honest. So, but we're here to do our game day pick'ems that we always do, and glad you joined us.
Most definitely.
We will get started right away. Our pick'ems last week, I've got running down at the bottom. We had abbreviated pick'ems because it was a combined show last week, and I went 4-2 in college football. John went 3-3. Our season stats, I'm 83 and 59. Football last week, we picked 7 games. I went 5-2. John went 4-3. Our college basketball season picks were now 11-8 and 10-9 for the season. And this is the last, I guess, regular season. This is the championship week for college football. After this, next week, there's only one game. That's Army-Navy. So we will do a little bit of talk about Army and Navy next week for college football. And then after that, then we will add in that week's bowl games as the bowl games go through, and we will talk about the bowl games all the way through about mid-January when the championship game is. So that's how we'll do that, and then we will move on to college.
You're lagging a little bit.
We'll move on to college basketball. Okay. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I did make a call, and we'll see if I can do an upgrade. They didn't have one 6 months ago. I'm going to see if I can do one now.
No, I was just saying.
But anyways, we'll start out. We're going to run through all 10.
I wasn't being smart. I was just saying you was lagging.
I know, man. The first one, Friday night, is New Mexico State, who's 10-3, versus Liberty, who is 10-0. This is Conference USA. And Liberty is still one of the 5 remaining undefeated teams in the country, and they are a 12-point favorite. John,
they've won 12 straight games. They're one of the best offensive teams in the country. I think they're scoring over more than 40 points a game. They have a good balance. They have a good balance of passing and running. And New Mexico State has struggled against the run, especially on the road. I think they're giving up 140 yards per game. I just don't see New Mexico State
except for Auburn.
Yeah, well, yeah. Which they're an SEC school. It's a little bit different compared to a G5, but
I had to throw that one in there.
But they did beat Auburn. I mean, so once out of 100 times, it don't usually happen like that. So, I think Liberty wins this game. I think they cover the spread. I expect them to keep New Mexico State's offense in check, but New Mexico State will get to a good bowl game. So that's a good thing for New Mexico State. And they got that win against Auburn on their belt. And that's a big thing going into next year. So, but Liberty covers the spread. I mean, Liberty's just on another level right now. And what's amazing to me is there hasn't really been a drop-off from Hugh Freeze to Jamie Caldwell after last year. There hasn't been a really big drop-off.
Nope,
and
they haven't.
It's – and Coastal –
No, I agree with you. They lost – Hugh Freeze was there last year. Yeah.
And many thought that,
Yeah, he was there last year, and they have not really had a drop-off at all.
Well, and many thought that the quarterback for Coastal, his name escapes me right now. Many thought he would go to Liberty with the coach, but he ended up not going. So, but he's actually in the portal right now, so he's a big-time threat to go to a bigger school this year. So,
yeah,
Grayson McCall,
yeah, McCall. Yeah. He is going to cover this spread. I do get these spreads from DraftKings, by the way. I use DraftKings for all my spreads. So that was what was on there today when I was doing all this. So I'm going to take Liberty in this one as well. The next game that we're going to talk about is also Friday night. These are tomorrow night games. This is a huge, huge game of the week. Playoff implications in this game. Oregon is a 9.5-point favorite over Washington. Make sense of that for me, please. I don't understand.
I think maybe it's the revenge factor.
How's that?
I said the last time these two teams played.
I don't understand.
Well, I said the last time these two played, Oregon's defense would be the difference in this game, and it wasn't. Nick Penix had a big night. He made plays when he had to. What really beat Oregon, and a lot of people look back at it now, they went for it on 4th and 1 at their own at midfield, and Washington went down and scored and won the game, basically. And that's what lost them the game. Oregon pretty much had this game intact. They was comfortably leading this game. And, Washington went down and scored, and they just never could recover from the momentum. Now, with that being said, Nix will have his day. Penix will have his day. Washington, I think, is 124th ranked in pass defense. And I think this game will submit Bo Nix's Heisman Trophy. A win tomorrow night will submit his Heisman votes, because I think, to me, it's down to him and Jaden Daniels, basically, in my opinion. Penix has had a good year, but Bo Nix has I think doubled that, in my opinion. He's just had some kind of season for Oregon. And what a way to cap it off with the win against Washington, winning the Pac-12 championship, and going to New York and winning the Heisman and actually playing for the college football playoff. So give me Oregon, but
they have a shot to do all that. So
I'm going to take Washington to cover the spread. Okay.
I mean, that's
It's
That
too
sounds
high.
like a smart move.
I just don't want to go straight up because I don't think this game's going to be too close. And I
agree with you.
because
This is what I was talking about, John. So the last two times they played, the last two times they played, Washington has beat them. They beat them at the end of the season last year, and they have beat them this year with this same team, basically. I mean, this year it was the exact same team, and they are playing again. Washington's 3, Oregon's 5. They have beat this team the last 2 times. I don't understand the spread. That's what I mean. I'm not saying Oregon has been playing better than Washington has. I can see maybe this spread being 2.5 or something like that. But 9.5 is crazy if you ask me.
Is Oregon?
Give me
Oregon played good enough defense to win that game the last time they played, but they made some stupid errors late in the game that cost them the game, and that's why Washington won. Now Washington's no cupcake.
38-35 and 36-33.
I mean, Washington's not a cupcake team. I mean, they're not just some team. You know, Washington's taking care of business.
38 points. I'm not going to say that I think Washington is definitely going to win. I think Oregon, since the Washington win over them, has actually been playing better football. I think Bo Nix has been playing better football than Michael Penix. So Oregon might win this game, but I'm taking the 9.5 points. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I am too.
There's just no way that I'm taking Oregon and have to cover 10 points. I couldn't believe that spread when I was looking at it. All right, so these games are Saturday. Big 12 championship is first on Saturday. Oklahoma State is 9-3. Texas is 11-1. Still in the hunt for a college football playoff. They are a 15-point favorite.
Well, let's be honest here. You know, Texas, to me, they're still playing for a spot in the playoff. They have to have a lot of things go their way later in the day, I think. But what they need to do is take care of business and beat Oklahoma State. They don't need to have a hangover, because if you look at some of the games that Texas has played, Texas has not really dominated these teams. You know, they've let teams come back and get in the game. I think they had the TCU game.
They did last week.
They had the Houston game. You know, Oklahoma State's going to have their hands full against this Longhorns rush defense. I'm going to take the Cowboys and the 14.5. I think Texas wins this game, and I think they keep it tight for a while, Oklahoma State. But in the end, I just think Texas has too much talent all across the board, and you got to hope that one or the other, some of those teams that play later in the day, crack a loss, because, well, we'll get to it then. But Texas has to win basically to get in. Yeah. They can't afford to lose a game.
Texas absolutely have to win.
They're just
if you're taking the points, Oklahoma State and the points, I think I'm going to take Texas to cover. They had not been playing that great, but last week beat Texas Tech 57-7 and actually put the kill on them, which is what I had been saying that Texas hadn't been doing. So with a college football playoff spot on the line, I expect them to do that in this game and cover the 15 points. Because if I feel like if they just barely escape a win here, that's really going to damper their college football playoff hopes.
Well, and if you
I'm not saying it'll knock them out, but
if you watch the NCAA chairman the guy that's over the football committee, he did not give a lot of teams any hope last week with his comments. Like, it was very vague. So,
all right. So the next game of the day on Saturday is the MAC championship. Miami, Ohio is 10-2 versus Toledo, who is 11-1. Toledo is an 8-point favorite in this game.
For me, this is a big number. But I'll tell you why it is because Miami has not been getting good quarterback play since Gabbert went down. Is it Gabbert or Gabbert? I think it's Gabbert. Gabbert, maybe. Toledo is the top scoring offense in the country. I think it's Gabbert. That's who it is. Miami, Ohio's quarterback. If they had him at quarterback, I think they would have at least a shot to win this game. Toledo's won 3 of the last 4 by 8 or more points, and I think they'll win this game, and I think they'll cover this spread, and get to a nice bowl game, which more than likely they're probably going to play in the Motor City Bowl, most likely. That's where a lot of those teams end up usually. So, I'm guessing that's where the MAC teams usually they have in the past. So, but give me Toledo and the 8 points.
I think that's what I'm going to do. Just Toledo team has a great offense. Miami has struggled at times, even though they are 10-2. They have won quite a few close games, it seems like, this year, and come out on top of a few of those. I'm going to say 2 or 3 at least. I just believe this Toledo team's probably the better team. I'm going to take them and take the 8 points in this one. And the next one of the day on Saturday is the Mountain West Conference Championship. This one's got Boise State, who is 7-5, versus a UNLV team who's 9-3, and Boise State's the favorite in this game, 2.5 points. This is all on DraftKings now. I'm not making these spreads up, I promise.
I'm going to tell you, the Rebels have done an outstanding job this year. Barry Odom has done a really good job bringing the UNLV Rebels back to notoriety. They're a well-balanced team. They have a real good punch in Vincent Davis and Thomas, and they got a really good wideout in Ricky White. To me, the question that remains here is, can UNLV stop Ashton Jeanty? He's been one of the biggest playmakers in the country. But Boise State's defense has played really well this year. They've done some amazing things, especially on defense. Their offense is a one-man show, more or less, if we're being honest here. And can UNLV stop that? And I just don't think they can. I think UNLV's had a great year. They're going to get to a great bowl game. But I'm going to take Boise State in this one and give me the plus 2.5. I think they cover the spread.
All right. I mean, I know that Boise State has all the history and notoriety in college football, but I really, really like the job that Barry Odom has done with this UNLV team.
I have to.
I'm going to take the upset here. I'm going to take UNLV in the upset here, and this is going to be my upset pick of the week as well. So I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. I'm going to take the upset and take the running Rebs in this game. And I really like the job that Barry Odom has done out there in his first season, by the way.
It's amazing, to be honest. After the years that they've had.
Yeah. And he hasn't. Oh, I mean, they've been terrible. Absolutely terrible. Bad. And for them to be in the championship game is a hell of a job by Barry Odom.
I totally agree with you.
All right. Our next one is one of the biggest, probably the biggest game of the championship day, probably. I mean, Oregon and Washington on Friday night is a really good one too. But on Saturday, I think this one's the best one. 5.5-point favorite over Alabama, 11-1. You know, Georgia's number 1. Alabama's number 8 in the college football playoff rankings. The only shot Alabama has is to beat Georgia. And they still might not, but I think they will if they beat Georgia.
I'm going to say this. This is not my upset pick. I had been kind of on the fence on it. I like this Alabama team. I think they're a really good team. But every single time that Georgia has had its back pressed against the wall, they always deliver. And I'm going to go another route. Every time Nick Saban needs to have a victory and win a big game, Nick Saban comes through. So you got it from both sides. But with that said, Alabama has the – okay, let me rephrase that. Alabama has the talent to compete with Georgia for 4 quarters. Now, there's a lot of teams that can't compete with them for 4 quarters with the kind of talent that they have. Alabama can, because Alabama's got, 4 and 5 stars just like Georgia does. But where this game will be won at is whether Jalen Milroe can make the plays or not in this game against a really good Georgia defense. If he can make some throws, if he can get his feet loose and make some, runs and get this Georgia defense backward, I think they got an opportunity. But at the end of the day, I got to go with the Dogs, man. Hoo. I just, I can't not go against Kirby Smart. He's done it the last 2 years. I mean, I know the one year he lost to Alabama.
Georgia's last loss. The last time Georgia lost was in this game 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was in this game, in the championship game, SEC championship game 2 years ago.
And then Georgia
they have won every game since. I forgot. I forgot. I can't remember now. Something like that. Might even be more than that now. I can't remember. 28 wins. I forgot what it is. But the last time they lost was in this game 2 years ago against Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 years ago against Alabama. So they have 2 straight championships. I'm going to tell you what I like.
And I pick them to cover.
All right. I'm going to tell you what I like. I think Georgia's offense has really started coming together. You got Ladd McConkey that's finally healthy and playing. You've got Bowers back that looks at least 80-90% healthy and is playing well. And Beck really has a whole season under his belt and has played out to be in the top 5-6 quarterbacks around the country for the whole year. Now, Jalen Milroe has come on the last 6 weeks. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that he hasn't, because he has. has. And Bond, his receiver Bond, James Bond, has, has made spectacular plays, including last week. And you can never count out Bama. But I'm going to go with the dogs here, man. I mean, until somebody knocks them off their perch, I got to go with Georgia. I can't not go against Georgia. All right, so the next game is the AAC Conference Championship, and we got SMU 10-2 versus Tulane 11-1. Tulane is a 3.5-point favorite. What's up, Josh? Jerry says Georgia in a close one.
I'm going to say this. Their quarterback has been out, SMU, pretty much all year maybe. And, they've really done some spectacular stuff. And putting
up a lot of points. I mean, a lot.
They are. And SMU's secondary, to me, is pretty elite. They got a good defense. I think they're ranked 15th in the country in passing yards, and they have 40 sacks. And Tulane relies a lot on its passing attack. The key here is can Tulane make some knots in that secondary? That's the big key here. This is my upset.
Tulane is in position to be the top group of 5 if they can. They are.
And Tulane has that chance to go back to another big bowl like they did last year. Like
the 6th bowl.
Yep.
They're in position to make it.
Give me the upset pick.
New Year's.
I'm going to pick SMU. That's my upset pick of the week. I got SMU beating Tulane. So let's hope it fires out.
Okay. I mean, this SMU team, man, has been putting up gobs of points all year long. They are just smoking people. They're 10-2. Of course, this Tulane team is coming off of a year last year where they were great. They've been 11-1 this year and just clicking almost every single week. Going for back-to-back championships and back-to-back New Year's Six bowls if they can win this game. Take SMU. I'm going to take Tulane in this one and be a little different. We can't be the same on everything. So I'll take Tulane in this one. I think that SMU has a good shot, though. I will say that.
I will say this. Our
next game is the Sun Belt Championship.
I will say this about Tulane.
Go ahead.
Willie Fritz is one of the best head coaches in G5. Like he's going to get him a big job eventually. Somebody's going to take him right off their hands.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've been killing it.
They have.
The next one is the Sun Belt, and the Sun Belt is App State 8-4 versus Troy, who is 10-2. Troy is a 6-point favorite. I do want to put a little asterisk beside this. James Madison, who did qualify for a bowl simply because they didn't have enough spots, is 11-1 in the. So you get App State. Troy is really the second spot. Troy would be in it, and App State would not. But
which
instead,
is a travesty.
Troy is Troy's the number one team. But I just wanted to throw that out there. But James Madison is going to make a bowl game simply because they didn't have enough teams that are 6-6 or above.
I'm just going to go. I'm not going to go really
Troy
much.
is a 6-point favorite, John.
I'm not going to go much into details about this one. I'm just going to take John Summerall and Troy. I think they're the more experienced team here. App State's been good this year. They've had some really good runs the last couple of years. But I trust Troy to win this game. They got a really good pass defense, and they do a really good job at getting after the quarterback. So give me Troy to win this game and the 6 points.
All right. I think that's where I'm going to go too. I mean, John Summerall has done an absolute heck of a job. They were 12-2 last year, and they're 10-2 this year. They're playing in the championship game here again. They won the Sun Belt last year, and won their bowl game as well last year, and went 12-2 championship. In their bowl game again, they'll be 12-2 this year. That would be back-to-back 12-2 seasons for John Summerall in his first 2 seasons as the head coach. So give me Troy in this game as well. And then our next one that we're going to go to, guys, is the ACC championship. This is Louisville, who is 10-2 versus FSU, who is 12-0. Of course, FSU is in the 4th spot and still vying for a college football playoff spot. If they win, they're probably in. The spread in this game is only 2.5. FSU is playing with their backup quarterback, and he didn't look stellar last week. They won.
Tate Rodmaker.
In the
Rodmaker. Yeah.
But the defense played really well, and I'm not sure. What do you think in this game?
Louisville's a really good team, but they've had a couple of head scratchers. You know, they lost to Pittsburgh. They lost to Kentucky last week. For me, that does not inspire confidence going into the FSU game. Now, FSU to me has more motivation to win because they're looking to get a title and go to the college football playoff. With that said, Florida State is without Jordan Travis, but not necessarily they need Jordan Travis in this one because Florida State's got a really good defense. For me, and you know, Louisville's quarterback play at times has been very mediocre, and he's going to have a time Saturday against Florida State. I think Florida State does enough to get by. I think they win this game. I think they cover the 2.5, and I think they get a shot at the college football playoff, and they get an opportunity to represent the ACC. So I just don't see Louisville with any shot in this game.
I will say this. That's the only way that's the only way the ACC is going to get in to the college football playoff is if Florida State wins.
I agree.
Somebody will jump them if they're 11-1.
They will. I agree.
Somebody will jump them. I don't know. You know, I don't know who it'll be yet, but somebody will. Could be Ohio State.
Could be
sitting at 6 if Washington beats Oregon.
See, that's where
Could be.
It gets crazy because you got Alabama in there, you got Texas in there, you got Ohio State in there. There's 3 or 4 teams in there that somebody's going to be.
I think that might be one of the only ways that Ohio State finds a way in.
Yeah, that's the only way they get in.
I think Ohio State and Texas are the 2 teams that are most likely to be left out. But I think Ohio State has a little bit better shot if Washington beats Oregon and Louisville here beats FSU, then Ohio State might slip in.
For me, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Spot.
For me, the odd team out for me is Texas. It didn't sound real good last week with that commissioner.
And Ohio State.
Yeah, they're going to have a lot of help.
I think it's Ohio. Bama has a shot because they're playing the number one team. If they can beat them, I think they get in.
Josh
Not only
says,
they're playing the number one team this year, they're playing the number one team for the last 3 years.
Do you think they really want FSU in there? Well, they have to. If they win, you ain't going to leave out an undefeated team in the ACC championship.
They have to. Absolutely.
They have to let them win. That's just the way it is.
The four spots are already taken if they win. If they win, if Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State win, the four spots are already there. They're in. They're undefeated. Absolutely. So I'm going to take FSU in this game because I think their defense can of winning against this Louisville team. They can score. They're going to have to keep this game in the 20s.
Yeah,
mid to low
shot.
20s to win this.
Yep. Yeah, but that was because
Jerry says he's
other
not
teams.
Sure. They are but they brought him back up to 4 this week.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take FSU to cover this 2.5, but I'm not real confident because I don't know if they can score enough points. If their defense doesn't stop Louisville from scoring 28 or more, a problem in this game.
Yep.
All right. So this one is the last championship game. These two, actually, the ACC and the Big Ten, are played at the same time, 7 Eastern, 8 Eastern on Saturday night. These are the last two championship games. We got Iowa 10-2 versus Michigan, who is 12-0. Michigan is a 22-point favorite in this game.
My question to this is, does Iowa even score? Let's be real here. Like, do they even move the football and get points? Like, as bad as Iowa's offense is, like, do they even score? Like, see, this is bad for college football.
I don't know. But they'll
probably
muster a field goal or two.
This is really bad for college football. It should be Ohio State and Michigan playing for the championship, because with these divisions need to be cut, because Iowa has no business being in this championship game. I'm sorry. I know that's wrong to say, but the top two teams in this division, or in the whole, is Ohio State, Michigan.
I mean, at least they're 10-2, and that other division's not 8-4.
No, but
sometimes that other division's been like 8-4.
Who wants to watch Iowa play?
I mean, seriously.
I'm not saying Iowa fans, but at the same time, like, I'm just going to be honest with you. Michigan's going to be out for blood, and this game could get really ugly, like 45-0 ugly, like. And good luck. Good luck to the Hawkeyes is all I can say. That's all I can say about it.
Okay, this is funny because Dave here says over-under is 35. I'm going to tell you this. My lock of the week, I saw it as 34.5 on DraftKings. Michigan and Iowa. My lock of the week is take the over. Take the over. That's my lock of the week right there. And Michigan's winning this game, guys.
Yeah.
Do I really have to pick it? I mean, take the over, though. 34.5. I'm not doing 35 because 35 would win it. 34.5 was on DraftKings earlier. Take the over.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that, maybe all of it, is going to be Michigan. I think Michigan might cover that over by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, that's it for college football. We're going to move to college basketball. There is a big game tomorrow night. We just got through watching the East Big 12 battle begins tomorrow night. College basketball. UConn travels to Lawrence, Kansas, and plays at Kansas. Kansas is a 2-point favorite at home in the Big East Big 12 battle. This is the inaugural event of that because the Big 12 had been playing versus the SEC.
To me, this game for me it's going to come down to pace of play. I think, Kansas wants to play fast. They're ranked 30th in the nation in pace of play. UConn wants to pound the paint. I think they're 209th in pace of play. Rebounding will win this game. And I think UConn's a better rebounding team. Hunter Dickinson can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? He has to have some help. Which this is at Lawrence. It's an even bigger game, honestly, because it's going to look good on the resume in March. But at the end of the day, I just think UConn has the better team in this game. I think they have the better players. I just think they have the better guards and inside play than Kansas does. Kansas, for me, is too inconsistent. Kansas's, guards, they're too inconsistent at times. And I just, and their depth right now is not really good. Especially in the Kentucky game, you could tell that some of the depth was not there that they normally have in years past. But Bill Self will have them ready to play. But give me UConn. I think the spread's like 2 points. I think UConn wins this game by 2.
It is. I'm actually agreeing with you. I think this UConn team has the 7, 8, 9, 10 players to go into Lawrence, and Kansas really only has about 6 deep, and 5 and 6 really isn't that great. They have 4 players that are really, really good, but it's tough to play 40 minutes a game, every game. Especially when you got teams like UConn who can run 9, 10 guys in and out and wear you out. So for me, give me UConn. I'm going to take UConn in this one as well. And then also tomorrow night on Purdue is an 8-point favorite at Northwestern. If I'm not mistaken, Northwestern beat Purdue late in the season last year.
He did.
In March, right before March Madness, as the season ended, regular season, and they're traveling to Northwestern. Northwestern's like 5-1.
Yeah, but their schedule is
good shooters.
Their schedule has not been. I mean, they played Mississippi State. That's the only game they lost, and then they should have beat Western Michigan, and they was, I think, 23-point favorites and only won by 4 points. So I think Purdue has a lot more experience, and they got the big guy in the middle, Zach Edey. Purdue has beat 3 top 15 teams. Northwestern does have a 7-footer, Nicholson, but
Yeah, this
I
Purdue
don't
team
think
looks good.
they do. But I don't think he's going to be the answer to all their problems. I just think Edey is just still too big. He'll dominate in the paint. Braden Smith is an excellent defender for Purdue. Braden Smith, those guards that Purdue's got, they're a really good basketball team. And we say this every year that, Purdue's going to do this, Purdue's going to do that. And we did last year, and Fairleigh Dickinson played the 16-1 game, and they upset them. So, but do I think this is a better team than that team? Yeah, I do. I think they're more experienced this year.
Postseason.
Yeah, Purdue has had struggles in the postseason.
Yeah.
So, but
other games already. I'm going to take Purdue, even though this game is at Northwestern. I'm going to take Purdue and take the 8 points. Is that what you're doing as well?
Mm-hmm.
Part of the Big East, our Big 12 battle as well.
Mm-hmm.
Houston travels to Xavier. Houston is a 7.5-point favorite. Of course, they are ranked like 6th or something in the country. Xavier has fallen out of the top 25. They started around like 12 or 13.
Mm-hmm. I really like this Houston team. I think they get after you defense. Kelvin Sampson's a really good coach. Even though this is at Xavier, the Census Center is a hard place to play. Sean Miller is a really great coach. You'll see a lot of sweat from Sean Miller. He sweats during the whole game. His whole jacket gets – every time he coaches, he's got sweat rolling off. But he's going to coach his boys. He's going to get Fari on the sidelines. But at the end of the day, I just think Houston has too much. They have too many good guards. They have the defense to back it up. So, give me Houston.
But I think I'm going to be a little different. I think I'm going to be a little different in this one, and I'm going to take the 7.5 points. I think at home, Xavier might be able to keep it within 8 points. So I'm going to take the 7.5 points on this one, just so we can have something that's a little different.
How many basketball games you got?
I got about 3 or 4 more.
Okay.
And then we're done for the day. All right. Our next one is on Saturday. USC plays Gonzaga in a Las Vegas Invitational.
Mm-hmm.
This is not at either one's home. This is in Las Vegas. And USC got some news today that Bronny James is cleared for practice. And he is supposed to start next week. He won't be playing in this game. He's supposed to start practicing next week, and they're going to put a plan together to try to get him back in. But Collier is there and playing really well at USC. They brought in a very good freshman class to go with Bronny as well. And they're playing Gonzaga on Saturday night.
Let's see here. I like Gonzaga in this game. They got a really good guard in Ryan Nembhard.
And these games don't have.
Yeah, and USC right now they're kind of scuffling a little bit. I know they're 4-2. They lost early in the year. I think what was it? Was it Nevada? I think Nevada beat them.
I think they're 5-2.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but
I think they're 5-2.
Yeah, they're 5-2. I like Gonzaga in this game. I just think experience matters, and I think guard play matters. But they do have some good guards at USC. Boogie Ellis and some of those guys out there, they got some players this year.
They're freshmen.
They are.
Collier kid.
And when you got Well, when you got Bronny James coming back, it's going to even be a better team. So, but I take the Zags in this game early in the year.
All right. Then I got 3 more. These are actually next week. This is Tuesday night. This is the Jimmy V Classic. Tuesday night next week. FAU plays Illinois. There's 2 games in the Jimmy V Classic. This is one of them. This is it started with the ACC SEC Challenge. This is the Jimmy V week, and it ends next week with the Jimmy V Classic on Tuesday night.
Which is an awesome thing because of Jimmy V. He's always they always show his speech, which is a big thing.
I watched it the other night, last night. I think
it's really awesome.
Yeah.
And this Illinois team sometimes is up and down. I like them at times, but then there's some games where they just don't look completely. They look abnormal. Now, FAU is finally getting back in the groove. And I'm trying to watch.
This is a neutral site game as well.
It's a neutral site game, yeah. And FAU, they dominated Liberty tonight. So FAU sort of getting back to what FAU ball is doing. Give me FAU over Illinois next week.
I think I'm going to take FAU as well in this game. I'm also going to take Gonzaga, but I'm going to take the Zags over USC as well in this game. And then the second game on next Tuesday night in the Jimmy V Classic is North Carolina versus UConn. And this will be played right after the FAU Illinois game. There's 2 games that night to celebrate the 30 years. This is 30 years of the Jimmy V Foundation, Cancer Research Foundation. So they always put on a great event and a great show. And to end it all, it's going to be North Carolina versus UConn.
That'd be
pretty good show.
I actually like Tuesday UConn. Night. I like UConn in this one again. North Carolina is they're figuring things out though. Last night they dominated a good Tennessee team that plays really good defense. I don't know where Tennessee's defense was last night. They might have left it back at the airport in Knoxville, but it was a great showing for North Carolina and what they offered offensively.
No kidding.
But Dalton Connect, he had
they looked good last night.
30 points. He got injured towards the end of the game, which I thought, they still was behind. He to me, Dalton Connect is their offense. Tennessee's got some issues going forward, but on the other side of things, North Carolina's got some big games coming up. They play UConn. They got Kentucky in 2 weeks. So we'll find out how good North Carolina is coming up. Well, they got a big marquee win last night. So
they beat Tennessee.
They should have.
They get UConn next week, and then a couple weeks after that, they get Kentucky. So,
and then they got they should have beat Villanova. I mean, there was a couple games there where they should have won. They beat Arkansas, but they should have beat Villanova in the battle for Atlantis. So it's in New York, I believe, Jerry.
Ask John Hammond. That's what I was thinking.
I believe
New
it's
York,
in New York.
I'm pretty sure.
It's Madison Square Garden, I think.
I think that's where they play it. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But I'm going to take UConn in this. I really like this UConn team. Of course, they're the defending champs. But this North Carolina team really impressed me last night. Like, their guard play is tons better from last year. I mean, tons better.
It's a lot better.
Or at least it was last night, on one night. It was, so we'll see.
I will say this.
I'm going to take UConn in this game.
If their offense plays like that, Tuesday night, the way, take the over against Kentucky in points. It'll be a shootout.
The way they played last night?
Yeah, it'll be a shootout.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So this is the last game that I got on here. This is next Wednesday night, and this is the last of the Big East Big 12 battles. They kind of go through this whole weekend. They start tomorrow and go through the weekend and go all the way up to next Wednesday. They have these kind of spread out. I think this is kind of one of the marquee games at the end of it. They're both ranked, of course. Marquette is ranked, I think, 2 or 3 now, something like that.
I think it's something like
Either
that.
2 or 3.
I like.
And Texas is 16th, and this is at Marquette.
I actually like Marquette in this game. Texas. To me, Texas still has a lot of learning to do. They got Hunter back, they got Max Avis, but there's still a lot of things that need to be fixed for the Texas team. Let's be real here. They almost lost to Louisville, which Louisville's not having a really great year this year. So, and Marquette to me is tough to play at home. Shaka Smart has really turned this program around. He's turned them into one of the top offenses in the country the last 2 years. Like, their offense is absolutely fun to watch with Jones and Tyler Kolek. That offense is a machine when they get rolling. Like, I watched them in the Maui.
Spectacular.
They are. When they was playing in the Maui, they put Kansas on a roller skates. They had Hunter Dixon wondering where he was at in the Maui Invitational. Like, they had him all over the place.
They did, for real.
And but give me Marquette. I still think Texas there's still a lot to learn with Texas. We'll find out where Texas is at when they get to Big 12 play, because they'll be in the mix with Kansas and now you got Oklahoma undefeated. Oklahoma's playing good this year.
Yeah, Oklahoma's up there right now. Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to say one thing.
Jerry says he's got to go Marquette. Robert Rose says Marquette.
Well, I want to say one thing after you say this real quick, after you give your pick.
Yeah. All right. Well, so, in this game, this Marquette team, guys, I've watched them 2 games so far, and I mean, they are legit. This team is legit. Their guard play with Kolek, and I mean, they have a big in the middle, and he's a pretty good player and can block shots and clean stuff up under there and grab rebounds, and they are go. I mean, if they hold the ball longer than 12 seconds, man, I mean, they just, like, Marquette out of the Big East, both are legit contenders for sure. So give me Marquette in this game as well. That's why I said, I had to do at least one or 2 of these different, because I think we took the rest of them just.
I got a final buzzer. We usually do a final buzzer.
All right, go ahead, man.
So I want to do a final buzzer.
We do.
Well, last night, in the Louisville post-game conference, Kenny Payne mentioned something about a player didn't want to play because he didn't have the right set of tights. I mean, I don't want to harp on this, but I mean, what's in the water in Jefferson County in Louisville? Like, what is going on up there? And that wasn't even the worst part. You want to know what the worst part was? They had a current player. They had a current player that was on the team sitting in the stands watching the game.
in the stands, not on the
in the
bench.
stands, not on the bench, in the stands.
Okay. They won last night. They beat Bellarmine. Bellarmine's he got a good coach and a decent team. I mean, they're decent. They beat them
See,
last year. Bellarmine beat
Here's
Louisville.
my thing. Why would a coach bring that up in a press conference and embarrass one of your players? Like, I don't get that. That don't make no sense to me. Like, why would you do that to a player? Like, I mean, that it blows my mind. Like because he went.
Here's my deal. If you're the leader and you're the coach, John, why don't you put your foot down and say, I'm not allowing that crap to happen? And you sure as crap don't air your dirty laundry out for the whole world to see. I mean, that's just it's bad, but for him to air out that his undershorts that he does wasn't what he wanted or whatever, it's kind of funny, it's kind of hilarious. I'm not going to say that it's not, but at the same time, come on, man. I mean, handle your business. You're the coach. Handle your business. Handle your team. Do it the right way. And don't air your kids. A 19, 20-year-old, don't air his dirty laundry out. I mean, literally laundry. You're talking about his underwear, his tights. You're literally.
And I'll say this on top of that.
To know.
I'll say this to end on it. I think what Payne's got is he's got a bunch of prima donnas on his team, and he don't know how to handle business as a coach. He's never been in that position, and he don't know how to handle it. And he's got a bunch of guys that think they can just do whatever they want to do and not be penalized for it.
That's what's happening. He's not in control of the ship. I mean, that's clearly what's happening.
And then you lose control of the ship, eventually it's going to bust. So
they have won some games. They've won some games already.
I got to tell you a good one. Jeff Goodman. Jeff Goodman posted last night. He said Louisville upsets Bellarmine at the Young. I thought that was the most hilarious thing about that. I mean, the jokes play themselves, but folks, Kenny Payne has never been in a coaching position.
Bellarmine's from Louisville, by the way. That is their home, is Louisville.
And he's never been in a position like this, and he does not know how to corral the locker room. He does not know how to control it, and that's the biggest issue. So, but I'm like you, Jerry. I think he's out after this year. There's a lot of Louisville fans that are really angry. Like,
well, let me be the first to say, as a Kentucky fan, after this debacle, I don't want him back right away. Make him go somewhere and clean up his image a little bit. I don't want him back right away. I can tell you that.
It's been bad. It's been really bad.
Hey, Kentucky's Calipari's got the ship going in the right direction. We don't need that mess at Kentucky right now.
No, especially the way it's going right now.
I'm serious as a heart attack. Listen, I like Kenny Payne. I have, but right now, don't let him come back and mess this up. Make him go somewhere else and clean up his image a little bit and prove himself a little bit. And then if he wants to come back in a couple of years, I'm okay with that.
Yep.
So you talk about a final buzzer. There you go. That's what I said.
There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
100%. Make him clean up his image a little bit, because that stuff right there is ridiculous.
Bad. It's really bad.
Championship game day pick'em show, and we are going to be back. Me and John Roberts will be here on Sunday. for the weekend wrap-up show. Try to get that up there. There you go. And one last thing, I am wearing a brand new home field apparel shirt. I'm going to stand up and show you my shirt. The Untouchables 96. Log on, go to homefieldapparel.com. When you go to checkout, put in CSCast at checkout. You'll get a 15% discount. Hurry. They've got stuff, vintage stuff like this. They've also got vintage bomber jackets. If you will hurry up and get your orders in, you can get them in time for Christmas, but you will have to get them in the next, say, week in order for them to get here for Christmas, because this time of year, it is taking a couple of weeks to get your orders in and stuff. So hurry, go to homefieldapparel.com. We would love to have you pick up some stuff and use our code CSCast for Christmas. Yep. They have over 180 teams to choose from, and we would appreciate it. So, all right, guys, this has been our show, Championship Week Game Day Pick'em from College SportsCast, and we appreciate you guys being with us. Sunday at 3 p.m.
Where are you tats?
For our weekend.
Where are you tats Sunday? Where are you tats Sunday?
Yeah.
Where are you tats Sunday?
And we will talk about and the college football playoff, and I'll tell you who I think is going to make it. Maybe we'll know Sunday. Do they come out Sunday this time, or is it Tuesday still?
Sunday.
Yeah. All right. So we'll talk about all of it on Sunday. We'll see you then, guys.